Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to That's Football. It's the morning after the night before and I've got 3 words for you. It's coming home. But look, look, it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. But what I want to talk about this morning is, and there's lots to get into, we must win this tournament, and not in a deluded Baddiel and Skinner World in Motion way where we just start singing and we get the flags on the car and and then we're disappointed. Like, we must win this tournament. What I woke up this morning and felt is that and I touched on it a couple of times yesterday, is that I'm not even going to think about Germany. Today is a new day. We're looking at Ukraine on Saturday. And this must be how Argentina felt, how Germany felt, how Portugal felt when they knocked us out in all those penalty shootouts over the years. I bet the next day they weren't going for the next 2 days. Yeah, we beat England. Look at them all crying. No, they won't. They will be thinking about what the next game is. And that's professionalism. And that's where we need to get to as a country in relation to our football. Enjoy the wins and then move on to the next thing. All the way through to the final. We must get there. Lots to talk about. I want to talk about Southgate's redemption, how we should be looking over the rest of this tournament, what's key, what big decisions need to be made, and how actually we need to stop and get a little bit real about what's actually going in this tournament and how difficult it still will be. But first of all, I just want to say Top 11 is sponsoring us today. As you might have known from my watch-alongs on stuff, I do spend a little bit of time going onto my phone, and a lot of the time that is because I'm playing this. I'm quite into this game. Top 11 is a free-to-play football management mobile game for iOS, Android and web browser, in which you get to run every aspect of your own football club from the ground up. So if you're a Man United fan who is done with the Glazers, or an Arsenal fan who fancies himself as the next Daniel Ek, then this is your chance to show that you have exactly what it takes to run a football club. Maybe you'll end up being a legend, or maybe you'll end up being a local villain. Top 11 is a cross-platform mobile game. It's a managerial game. Using the one account, you can play the game anywhere, anytime, on your iOS, Android phone, and also on your desktop computer when you're meant to be answering work mails, etc. To be honest, I mean, if I'd have had this when I used to have some of my other boring jobs of the past, I would have had a great day. You have complete control over your club. That means you can make the decisions around tactics, player management, your club stadium, and even the club logo. There's even a 24/7 live transfer market in which you can bid for players. This is where you can build your team and take it to the next level. Finally, as nothing should be enjoyed alone, Top 11 is a social game where you can take on your mates and other players from around the world in real time to find out who's got the real managerial skills. So what are you waiting for? Hit the link in the video description and start your Top 11 journey today. Thanks again to Top 11. I absolutely love this game. And yeah, it is fantastic. You can play online and things like that. So get involved in that aspect of it. So thanks to Top 11. Give it a download. But look, England, what a Top 11 it was last night. It wasn't actually though, was it? It wasn't a Top 11. I think that, reality needs to bite. Very, very optimistic that we will beat Ukraine. That's not arrogance. That's not arrogance. I think we've got to win this. Rome, Ukraine is potentially difficult because it's not at Wembley. So, you've got to deal with that mental barrier of, this is basically going to be played in front of, not many fans. England, the English FA are not selling tickets to English people, so I think because of the quarantine rules, etc., there will be fans in the ground. I'm sure England fans will find a way to be there, but it's not at Wembley. Beat Ukraine, semi-final, Czech Republic or Denmark at Wembley, and then a final at Wembley. There's no guarantees, but we need to win this. We'll never get a better opportunity than this for many reasons, really. The favourites are out. Some of the big hitters are out. I don't think there's a team left in this tournament that England can't beat. I don't think England can't beat France. I don't think England can't beat Germany. We beat them last night, but they're difficult games. There's barriers there with the favourites and some of the historical barriers that we climbed over last night. So I think Italy, Belgium, Spain would be a difficult game for England. Maybe even Switzerland, maybe Denmark. And they are, maybe Ukraine. But I expect England to get to the final. The hype, if you're not English, is unbelievable. It's going to build and build over the next few days. The sun's coming out tomorrow. It's just going to be huge. I've been here before. I've been here before in 2002 with the Brazil quarter-final in the World Cup. I've been here in 96. I've seen it year after year. It really does galvanise and sort of, get the English country, very, very hyped. And that's what we're going to see. He's got to pick Grealish. That was the change for me last night. Grealish was the change. Like, people are saying, give Sterling man of the match, give Pickford man of the match. Put some respect on their name, put some respect on Harry Maguire's name. Yeah, do Luke Shaw's name as well, Kyle Walker's name, and let's not forget. I think one of the things that really made me laugh this morning is that we did our player ratings last night I saw Sky giving Kyle Walker and Luke Shaw 6 out of 10, giving Pickford and Sterling 9, giving Kieran Trippier 7, and giving Calvin Phillips 7. I was like, hold on a minute. Who do they think they are? Who's watching this? Because, look, football's all about opinions. Everyone's got an opinion like an arsehole. But the reality is, there are certain opinions that must be pulled up. Like Luke Shaw won the tackle to give it to Grealish for the second goal. He got the assist on the first goal. And he kept a clean sheet. And he kept Kimmich quiet. That's not an average 6. So whatever you think about Luke Shaw, and maybe there were some things that were a little bit, unadventurous about Luke Shaw's performance yesterday at some points. But when you do those two things in the goal, you're massive. You keep a clean sheet and you keep Kimmich quiet. That can't be an average 6 performance. What average as opposed to what? And Kyle Walker can't be given an average 6 performance when his pace was a huge asset. I mean, look at it. Declan Rice would have got a red card if it wasn't for Kyle Walker. Goretzka is through one-on-one. Declan Rice takes him down. The only reason it's a yellow and not a red is because Kyle Walker is running the other side of him and would have caught him. If that's Maguire or Stones, they wouldn't have caught him and it would have been a red. So, to give these players average scores when they played absolutely superb is ridiculous. But I think this is where we need to be careful, and I think football's moved on. I think football fans and social media has allowed football fans to have a far bigger voice collectively where we're interacting with each other and reality bites. If you were just, 20 years ago where there was no Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and you're just beholden to the mainstream media, be it paper or on the TV screen or Sky Sports or whatever that was around then you were basically brainwashed into this whole it's coming home, which I'm trying to do as well, to be fair. But no, it really would be this hyperbole of, this player was good, this player was bad. And I think the brilliance of fan content and social media and football Twitter, etc., is that there's so much genuine good conversation. I mean, they still get crap on there, but there's good conversation where people are not having their wool pulled over their eyes by this, these whatever hyperbole agendas that are out there. And the reality is as well, I don't think England played superbly well against Germany yesterday. It was a very professional job. I think we got the job done, and it was it was a very memorable 2-0 win. But I watched most of the game back late last night, and I was like, yeah, it could have gone either way for a long period of time. But I think what I like about England is the momentum, and it takes me back to what I'm talking about. A tournament is 7 games if you win it in the Euros. We've got 3 games left. We're just over halfway point. We've not conceded a goal. We've now got Harry Kane who scored a goal. Sterling's got 3. Grealish has now established himself. This team is building from where it was from that first game where Grealish didn't start and, Foden started and Mount started. We're going to see those sort of players. They're going to be really, really important. Maybe Marcus Rashford as well. But I feel that this team is growing. And I think against Ukraine, what I'd be looking for in that game is another clean sheet and maybe a 2-0 win again, where we just go through the gears again, go up another level. It's all about timing. England don't know about timing because we don't know about winning things, but this is all about momentum and building, and I think England have to get to the final. We have to get to the final. I'm not going to say we have to win it because that puts massive disrespect on teams like Denmark and Italy and Belgium and Spain and Switzerland and Ukraine. You've got to respect these teams, but we've got to get to the final. And if you get to the final, you've got to bloody win it. It'll be packed out Wembley. It'll be a home game. You've got to go and win it. We've got to go and win this tournament. But when I say that, it also drops into my head that I'm saying we've got to go and win this. Bookies are putting us as favourites. We've never won anything in my life. England have never won anything in my life. In most people's lives, England have never won anything. So to sit here and say we must win it and that we're favourites to win it, that might technically be true. We must win it. We'll never get a better opportunity. And we may well be favourites, but we've never won anything. And at some point, there's probably going to be a penalty shootout. We need to avoid penalty shootouts like the plague. And I think if we can avoid penalty shootouts, we've got a great chance of winning this tournament. And that's not just because England are bad at penalties. I think any club that goes to a penalty shootout, you're basically flipping a coin. France are better than Switzerland. They lose on a penalty shootout because they deserve to be in a penalty shootout because they didn't beat Switzerland. So England need to avoid penalties. That's massive. Ukraine is the sort of game that could be how we go out, frustrating, overhyped. We've just got to keep that mentality. And I tell you what, Southgate deserves his contract now. I want to say that as well. We are through to the quarterfinal. We have beaten Germany. I think the whole Southgate out thing. And look, he's not become a genius manager overnight. He still has massive limitations. We still don't play great football and we still have very good footballers. But, you can't not give a man a new contract when he takes you to the semi-final of the World Cup, and he should be taking us to at least the semi-final of the Euros. So he will get a new contract, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. It's a results business, and semi-finalists for England would be enough for him to get a new contract. Quarter-final loss to Ukraine, a lot of people would say get rid of him, to be honest, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Southgate deserves the respect there. But on the other side of the coin, and I was on the other side of the coin yesterday, I will defend myself on this. Am I right? Am I right or am I wrong? Did Jack Grealish change that game? Yes. Was it 0-0 when Jack Grealish came on? Yes. Was it 2-0 when Jack Grealish was on? Yes. Did Jack Grealish change the game? Yes. Did Jack Grealish start the game? No. Should he have started the game? Yes. So ultimately, Southgate takes the plaudits, but so does everybody else who doubted Southgate, because we all said Grealish should be starting that game, and he didn't start him, and then he brought him on and he won. But what I would say is, and this is where I really want to give Southgate some credit, is that I didn't think Jack Grealish would be his first sub, and he was, and I applaud Southgate for that, because it could easily have been Mount, it could easily have been Foden, and it could easily have been Rashford, and he turned and he went to Grealish first, and that to me shows a progression in Southgate, because I don't think there's many times in the last 18 months he would have turned round, ignored Mount, ignored Foden, ignored Rashford and sent Jack Grealish on, and he did. And I think that really was the moment, and hopefully that's the moment where it drops with Southgate, that, from now on, Jack Grealish is the player. He is the player of the moment. And that doesn't mean that Mount's not a good player, Foden's not a good player, Rashford's a good player. Grealish has got something about him where things happen. And Villa fans will tell you this till the cows come home. He plays in a team that's not got many star players, and every opposition knows he's the star player, and yet he still makes things happen. He's got to start for England. He makes things happen. He does. Anyway, look, smash a like on the video, subscribe. The line is, it's coming home, and the line is, we must win this tournament. Without being arrogant, it's so important that we're professional now, and we behave like professionals. I don't want to see much more about England beating Germany beyond today. Tomorrow we go to work preparing for Ukraine. As a fan base, I think already today the players in Southgate are. Because you know what? We should get used to beating Germany in the knockout. We should get used to being the favourites. That's what winners do. We wake up in the morning and we go, right, we're going to go and do it again. We've not won anything yet. We've just beaten Germany. Big result. Let's go again. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe, and do download Top 11. It's free. Links in the video description. It's a fantastic little football manager game. I'm going to get back to playing mine now. Thanks for watching. Speak to you in a bit.